Today is Gimel Tammuz, and I wish to express my adulation and commitment, love, reverence for the man that I held to be the leader of the Jewish people and the holiest man in the world, LUBAVITCH Rebbe. I have done many videos about the Rebbe, and we received many different responses. Today is his yahrzeit. The Rebbe would have been 112 in his 112th year, 111 plus several months, had he been alive with us today. What did the Rebbe stand for? What was he about? Why is it important to mark the Rebbe's yahrzeit? Many people say that you have to connect to the Lubavitch Rebbe, and that's what it's important about. But I want to be a little bit more practical. What drew me to the Lubavitch Rebbe? Two things: his energy and his devotion. My Rosh Hashiva in RJJ, the last Rosh Hashiva that I had in a non-Hasidic yeshiva, was Reb Zadel Epstein, Zechat Tzadik Livrocha. Anyone who knows Reb Zadel knew that he was a tzaddik of a person, a holy man. And I wondered myself, what is the difference between the Lubavitch Rebbe and my Rosh Hashiva? I thought, I had no beard at the time, I thought if it's a beard, my Rebbe has a beard. My Rebbe looked very religious, more religious perhaps than other people, maybe even more than the Rebbe. And the Rebbe is a Talmid Chochem, my Rosh Hashiva is a Talmid Chochem. The Rebbe is frum, my Rosh Hashiva is frum. I saw this in Purim Tafshin Chav Daled, 1964. I'd gone to my Rosh Hashiva's Purim Suda, and after an hour and a half, there was nothing more for him to say. And we were disappointed. We were ready to have an entire night of Purim celebration, but it was limited. So someone mentioned, Ephraim Golower, to be exact, mentioned, let's go to see Lubavitch, and I said fine. And we were the only two from the class who went. It took us about an hour from Borough Park to 770, and required to go through several trains, from the D train to Nevin Street and so on, and he finally got there. And we waited, and when the Rebbe came down, I was about 15-20 feet from the Rebbe, and I saw the Rebbe in profile. What I saw shocked me. I had learned about the law that you're not allowed to go straight with a straight back, and being naturally hunched over, I always wanted to have a straight back. I was very, very self-conscious. And I thought to myself, does God want us to be hunchbacks? I saw the Rebbe from profile. The Rebbe was slightly bent, only slightly. His eyes were up and toward heaven. His eyes were ablaze with determination. And the Rebbe moved like no man I'd ever seen move. The Rebbe at that time was 62. The Rebbe moved like a young athlete. And then the Rebbe proceeded to speak for hours and hours. And he held an audience, not a class, captivated for hours on end. I learned later that not only was the Rebbe a Weltskoin, the Rebbe was a Welt Tzaddik, a holy man, very private, very devoted, and with incredible insight. I saw how the Rebbe would always be there the Rebbe never took a day's vacation from the time he became a Rebbe. I'm sure even before then he never took a day's vacation. I once had, as I stated in the previous video, a question of life and death, and I called my Rav Gruvnes Zatzal. He was in Miami Beach at the time. It was a difficult question. He says, I have to ask other people. All of the Gdolei Hador are here in Miami Beach. It's wintertime. All the Gdolei Hador, except for one, the LUBAVITCH Rebbe, never took a day vacation, never stopped working for Klal Yisrael, for the Jewish people. It was the Rebbe's energy, the Rebbe's positiveness, the Rebbe's warmth, the Rebbe's devotion that captured me. Not whether the Rebbe was Mashiach, not whether he was Baal Ruach HaKodesh, that he could see all things. It didn't bother me. That wasn't what was interesting to me. What was interesting was that he was filled with teichen, with content, and his content extended the whole gamut from secular issues to every aspect of Torah, to every aspect of the Jewish people, with care and concern for everyone and everything. And over the years I saw the holiness, the ability of the Rebbe to see what the future would bring for Klal Yisrael. His advice, his activities, his care, all showed an incredible knowledge of what was necessary and what was going on. On personal levels, everything he said to me came true. His advice, his words, were all correct, appropriate, and soothing, curing, healing. He was the consummate Rebbe, a true leader of all men, a true father for those who needed comfort, a true judge of Israel, to lecture for what was necessary to be lectured. A person who was a Melitz Yosher, who only said good things about Jewish people, never ever cursed, never ever berated, never ever called people names, always dealt only with the issue. The Tohar Haloshon, the purity of his language, the care that he gave in dealing with people, unbelievable. Every aspect of his movement, his motions, was governed by the Torah, by Chassidus, by Kabbalah. There wasn't a thing that he did outside of the Torah. He was the embodiment of the Torah. And he was the Rebbe of our generation, for Chassidim and non-Chassidim, for Jews and for the world. He is still the Rebbe, and he still prays for us and inspires us and is with us and with you.